Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today is a very different video for me. It is something that I've been wanting to film since I literally started my channel, but it's just taken me a long time to get there kind of mentally. I mean, as you can see by the title, today is kind of just me talking about my journey with acne from the start, and my experience with being on, well, it's called Roaccutane here in the UK, but I think in America it is called Accutane. It's a bit of a difficult one for me, guys, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna try my best to keep it as factual as I can so I don't get emotional, because those who know me will know how much of a journey I've gone on with my skin. And I also did ask for a few questions over on my Instagram, which, by the way, if you aren't following me on Instagram, then please do. If ever I'm going to do kind of like Q&As or like videos like this, then I ask for all the questions over my Instagram, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, I did just ask for a few questions on Instagram about just anything related to acne in general, so I've got a few of those which I will answer at the end. But yes, I'm going to try and keep this as quick and snappy and as factual as I can. So let's just get started. Okay, so my kind of whole journey with acne started when I was around 10, which, yeah, is young, I know. So I did actually start my period when I was 10. I was in year 5, so I was very young to kind of start that whole process. And unfortunately for me, bad skin just runs in my family. My mum suffered with her skin when she was young, as did my dad. So unfortunately, I was not going to be the luckiest when it came to skin. But yes, when I was 10, and then going into my final year in primary school in the UK, so I was like 10, 11, is when I started to get what were just kind of like typical kind of puberty spots. But they did quickly progress into something a little bit worse. So unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of this time. My hard drive with all of my images from kind of, you know, when I was around that age, I've literally lost. I've been searching for this hard drive for literally a week now, so I can like show you some pictures of what my skin looked like when I was that age, but I just unfortunately just don't have them. But yes, I essentially, when I was that age, just had like a band across my forehead of just bumps, like loads and loads and loads and loads of just these tiny little bumps all under my skin. I started getting quite bad blackheads. And I was very oily. My skin was very oily. And I remember I used to use, I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but in Boots you used to be able to get this concealer that had witch hazel in it. And I used to use that to put on my skin when I was in primary school. So I was really young and very self-conscious of my skin from an early age, because no one else had skin like me. I didn't have the best experience in primary school with, see, this is why I just didn't want to do it, because I just get emotional. Yeah, I didn't have the best experience in primary school with children. I was bullied quite badly, pretty much my whole primary school life, and unfortunately, one of the nicknames that I gained in year 6 was Pizza Face. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, back at that age, it was just more kind of bumps, and just general kind of like blackheads and redness. I had nothing kind of on this lower half of my face. It was only a band on my head. Then that kind of got progressively worse as I started going into comp. So when I was kind of in year 7 and 8, I would start getting spots on my chin, and the spots progressed to more kind of like almost like boils. So they weren't spots that you could like pop. They were kind of like these big hard red spots under the skin. And like I said, that was just kind of like my chin and my forehead. And when I got to about the age of 13, I had already tried a cream called Duac, which I know they still do prescribe in the UK. I was given a topical solution that began with a Z. I literally can't remember what it was called for the life of me. But it began with a Z, and it was very, very strong. I had tried antibiotics. They put me on erythromycin. And they also put me on another one beginning with L. Again, I cannot remember the name. It was like limacycline or something. So I'd already tried 4 ways to get rid of what they called mild acne in the doctors. And they said that the next option for me was to try the pill. Which I did. So I was 13, again, I was still very, very young. Bearing in mind, it had been 3 years now of suffering with this kind of like bumpy redness, just like not nice skin. And yeah, so I started taking the pill. They put me on the pill Yasmin, which is a combined pill, and it treats like skin like spots. And I started taking that, and it worked absolute wonders. My skin was lovely. It was clear. I would get, you know, an odd spot every now and again, but for the majority of kind of the 18 months, 2 years I was on the pill, my skin was clear. And then unfortunately I started getting migraines quite badly, which looking back were all stress related. You know, I was going into kind of my GCSE time, and it was just stress. Like I would just get these migraines really badly, but because of the pill that I was on and the migraines, they took me off it because they just said that it's really dangerous and you can't be on it. So this is when, nothing against student doctors, not student doctors, but like new doctors, nothing against them at all, because you have to train really, really hard. But this particular doctor I saw was very new to the kind of like world of medicine, I guess. And he took me off Yasmin and he put me on a pill called Sorel. Now, Sorel does not help combat skin conditions. It can actually cause acne. Now, I don't think the doctor really understood that I was only on the pill for my skin. I mean, I was 15 and I did take my mum to the doctor, so I'm not sure whether he just thought I was lying when I said that I wasn't sexually active. But, I mean, I wasn't lying. But yeah, he put me on Sorel. I cannot explain to you how bad it was. My skin, after a week of taking it, honestly just like blew up. And then they told me like, oh, you know, take it for 3 months. It takes 3 months for your body to get used to the change and whatever else. So I took this pill for 3 months. Not only did it cause my acne, but it also, I had a permanent period for those full 3 months with no sign of it going away. It was hell. And I'm not saying that it's the pill's fault, because I know a lot of people that are on that pill and it works fantastic for them. For me, it didn't work. I took myself off it and I hoped that because I stopped taking them, my skin would, you know, clear. Wrong. It didn't. And I don't actually have any pictures of my skin from this time. I was so depressed. My skin was awful. It was everywhere. Yeah, it was everywhere. It was all over my cheeks, my chin, my forehead, my chest, and all of my back. And they were big, like actual boils. And I just remember going to my prom in year 11, and I did my own makeup because I was too ashamed to leave the house without makeup on, and I didn't want anyone to see my skin without any makeup on. And and it was a really horrible time. I would cry be getting ready for school because I couldn't cover them. It was just awful. And when I got to sixth form, I just knew that enough was enough. They'd already tried in this kind of like since I was 15 to when I was almost 17. They also tried me on two different antibiotics, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And enough was enough. And I went to the doctors, and they said that if I wanted to take Roaccutane, then there was roughly a 9 to 18 month waiting list on the NHS. And I just didn't have that. And if I'm being honest, I was so depressed that, because of other things as well, but I was so depressed that I knew 18 months was not an option because of how bad I was feeling. So we decided to go private, and it was the best thing I've ever done. As soon as I'll never forget, as soon as I walked into my consultation, he took one look at me and said, okay, I'm going to need you to take a pregnancy test, and like, I'm going to prescribe you Roaccutane. He started, so basically it was in April of 2015, and I started on 20 milligrams, and I was on this first round of Roaccutane from April 2015 to September 2015. And I obviously like progressed, but I remember I started on 20, and then after that first month I went straight to 60 milligrams. And then I think I was on 60 milligrams for 2 months, and then the rest of the time I was on 80 milligrams. And I was told that I had severe cystic acne, and that he didn't beat around the bush, by the way. He literally went in and he was like, you will most likely have pitted scarring, where you kind of get like holes in your skin. He was like, this isn't going to be the end of it for you. You're going to need maybe laser treatment, needlework. He said, like, be prepared for quite severe scarring. That's what I mean. This is how bad it was, guys. And I really wish I had pictures to show you. But there's literally, I just didn't take any. I just hated myself. So yes, my skin didn't actually start to clear up until kind of the end of July. So I started taking it mid April. I think it was like the 15th of April, and it wasn't until kind of like mid-July that my skin actually started to look clear. Side effects wise, my first go on Roaccutane, I didn't really get any side effects. My lips were a little bit dry, but other than that, I got nothing. I didn't get oily anymore. My skin was dry, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. And that, literally guys, that was it. Like, I remember going back in September for my last consultation. I didn't have any pitted scars. I didn't have any real marks on my skin. He was literally shook. I remember him being like, you do not realise how lucky you are. So many people with your skin have horrendous scarring. And he did say then, he was like, look, like, just because your skin is clear now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay clear. Which I kind of knew was the case. Unfortunately, when you have really bad skin and you kind of do a round of Roaccutane, what happens is it does usually come back. But he said it may not. And that was that. My skin was perfect. So I stopped obviously taking that. I had just gone 17. I then moved to London when I was 19. So obviously for pretty much 2 whole years, my skin was perfect. I did not get a blemish. I didn't get a blackhead. There was nothing. My skin was honestly perfect. And then, unfortunately, my second year of university is when it started to come back. So I will pop some pictures on the screen now of kind of what it looked like when it started to come back. And then unfortunately it just continue to progress and get bad. I thought that I had it under control. I didn't. So then as of last summer, that's when it actually started to get really bad, which obviously you'll see the images on the screen now. And I went back to uni in the September, ready for my 3rd year, and my 3rd year was really important to me. And you know, I was going into musical theatre, I needed lovely skin, I needed to feel confident. I just didn't have it. My confidence was knocked back again. I felt awful, and I just couldn't cover it. Like, honestly, I'll put pictures here of what it would look like when I would try and cover it up, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't cover it. So I went back to my doctor in October 2019. I went back to my dermatologist, and we started Roaccutane again, and I took it from October until January of 2020. And I'll pop some images now of kind of what it looked like as I was taking it. And honestly, again, best thing I've ever done. My side effects were way worse this time, I will be honest. My lips were awful. You'll see in an image I'm about to put on screen, but my whole bottom lip was red raw and probably double the size. It was bad, guys. It was horrible. It was a horrible time, and I honestly thought it was never gonna get better. It was just awful. Like, Roaccutane is no joke, okay? And you'll know if you've suffered with your skin that it is honestly the last resort, and it's not nice, and it's not something that you think about lightly when you have bad skin. Unfortunately for me, it is the only thing that has ever worked. So I did it again, and I will put a clip now of what my skin looks like now. I'll just talk over the top. But yeah, as you can see, and I do have like a couple of blemishes every now and again, which I can completely deal with. I do unfortunately have some pitted scars this time, from this kind of round of acne, which I'm not too bothered about, in all honesty. Like, it could be way worse. I'm not gonna bother about that. But yeah, so that is it really. That's my journey in short. With acne, it's awful, and I know that obviously there are people out there that had worse skin than me, but if anyone is ever struggling with their skin or their confidence about their skin, then please just DM me, because I've been there, I know how it feels, and my DMs are always open to anyone who ever needs a chat. Yeah, it's horrible. It's really horrible. But like I said, I did ask for some questions on Instagram, so I'm going to answer them now. I've been asked a few times about skincare. So during Roaccutane, I only used simple skincare. I used the simple moisturising face wash. I'll pop pictures on the screen. Moisturising facial wash, the rich hydrating moisturiser when I was on Roaccutane because of how dry my skin was, and then I was using the light hydrating moisturiser in between kind of rounds. Now I have found other skincare products that I love and that are really working for my skin to try and get kind of some of the scarring to go away and the pigmentation. So what I'm using currently is in my last vlog on my channel, so you can check that out to see what I'm using on my skin currently. But yeah, I kept it really simple, no pun intended. I just used very like simple, no fragrance products. That's literally it. Another one is, what makeup do I use? So I don't use foundation. I just find that it just doesn't sit nicely on my skin, or at least I haven't found one that sits nicely on my skin. But I swear by the Collection 2000 concealer, and I just use that literally under my eyes, around my nose, my chin, middle of my forehead, and then just over like the scarring, kind of like on the bottom of my cheeks, and it's literally perfect. It's never broken me out, it's never affected my skin, and I swear by it. that's it. One of the questions is, I always get bad cystic acne when I get my period. They received something from the doctors for it, but it doesn't always help as fast as I'd like. What's best to keep the inflammation down? So if I get a spot now, I use the Badescu drying lotion, and I just dab that directly on whatever spot that I have on my face, and it just completely dries it up. It takes the redness away, it takes the inflammation down. But if you want a cheaper version, I actually used to use aspirin. So I would take an aspirin tablet, I would crush it in some water, so to make like a paste, and then using a cotton bud, I would pop that on my spots, and that does exactly the same thing. So it depends. You can spend like, I think the Badescu is like 16 or 18 pounds. You can spend that, or you can buy aspirin for literally like 40p and mix it with some water. They literally do the same thing. But yeah, icing does help, but just be careful you don't keep it on for too long, because that can actually make the redness a little bit worse, in my opinion. But yeah, inflammation wise, that's just what's always worked for me. Another one again is how to cover spots with makeup without it being cakey or scabby. Like I said, I really struggled the second time round with covering up my acne when I was actually on Roaccutane, because obviously your skin does get really, really dry. But honestly, less is more. You will be surprised that the more you cake on to a spot, the worse it's going to look. And honestly, I learned this the hard way, but just try less is more. Just try. Cleanse, moisturize, use serums, use toners, whatever it is that you use on your skin. Then give your skin 5 minutes just to breathe, because when you are like rubbing at your skin, it obviously causes like more like blood to come to the skin, and it does increase redness sometimes. So just give yourself 5, let it all just calm down, and then just try using a concealer. It honestly changed my life. Like, just use a concealer and just dab it onto the spots. What I used to do is, if it was like coming away a little bit, is a little bit of concealer, then in your powder, just get a little bit of powder on your finger, dab it over, leave it, do the rest of your face, and then if it needs a little bit more, you can go back in with a little bit of concealer. But trust me, less is always more when it comes to covering spots, because I get what you mean. It can look very cakey very quickly. If you had any scars or discoloration, how did you solve this? I wish I had an answer. Unfortunately, like I said, scarring wise, I do have currently, and I am working to get rid of it. Currently, what I've really found works for me is I've been using a retinol serum twice a week, and it's, oh my gosh, it has helped my skin to no end. The texture of my skin, the scarring, the discoloration, everything. And I use the Ordinary one. I'll pop it in the description box down below, and I will pop everything that I use skincare wise in the description bar down below. So I'll put my cleanser, my toner, my serums and my moisturizer all down below for you. Scarring wise is a lot harder to get rid of. Another question is about my side effects with Roaccutane. So like I said, the first time round I just kind of got like dry lips a little bit, and literally no oil on my face or my hair. I would go literally 2 weeks without washing my hair. My body just didn't produce any oil. And then my skin didn't ever really go back to how it was. So I currently don't have oily skin. I actually do have dry skin. But the second time round, I did suffer a little bit more with the side effects. I got very scaly, dry skin. My lips honestly were awful. They would split at the corners. If I would laugh or smile, they'd like reopen. It was horrendous. They would scab. And what I used for that, what I found was the absolute best, is Lano Lips. Again, I'll link it down below for you. That was the best thing I used for my lips. But yeah, just severe dry skin is kind of the only side effect that I had with Roaccutane. I did get a few styes. And I think the second time round, it just did affect my mood a little bit. I did feel a little bit more down in the dumps than I usually would. But other than that, I was incredibly lucky side effects wise. I know that some people have very severe side effects. And if there is anything you take from this video, please just research Roaccutane. Research it and really debate whether, you know, you want to go ahead with it, because it is a serious drug, and yeah, there's a lot of side effects. So just be sure that it's what you really want to do. I know it's horrible having, you know, acne and having bad skin, but if you are happy and confident inside, that radiates outwards. And you know, the amount of people that said to me in uni when I was on Roaccutane, they were like, but your skin isn't even bad. Like, honestly, people don't notice it as much as you do. And honestly, my heart goes out to you if you are struggling with anything to do with your skin. I get it, I understand. And it does get better. Trust me. You know, it took, oh my gosh, I was on this journey for over 10 years with my skin, and it is literally like this, and there is nothing to say that mine won't come back in a couple of years again, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. But like I said, if you have any other questions, or you feel like there's something I haven't covered, then please leave a comment down below and I'll answer it there. Or if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, then just DM me over on Instagram and I'll answer. But yeah, like I said, just, I know it's hard, but you are beautiful regardless of your skin. Your skin does not define your worth. It does not define your beauty. You are all beautiful no matter what is on your face or your skin or wherever it is that you're struggling with. I promise you that when you are happy inside and when you are happy in yourself, it really does radiate outwards. And yeah, I just want you to know that I'm here for you if you ever need to chat. And yeah, if you have any other video suggestions for me, or if you want me to do kind of this a little bit more in depth maybe, then let me know. But other than that, I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a lovely week, and I'll see you all soon for my next video. Bye everybody.